Awesome. Linda, thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit today.
Thanks for
Appreciate it. I
inviting
know
me
you're super busy. I know you're just catching a few moments in the storage closet
in the
at your
closet.
store.
That
So
is correct. Uh-huh.
thanks for doing this. So, in addition to being a busy business owner,
Mhm.
um, you and your Facebook friends and your family and friends know you to be somebody who's very passionate about fitness.
You bet. They do. And that is evidenced by the fact that I post almost every day.
Yeah,
If I've eaten something healthy, if I've worked out, which is almost every day, then I will take a picture and then I will post it and I hashtag it humorously to
yeah,
keep it entertaining and they watch for it.
absolutely.
So they're aware.
Yeah. So we want to talk a little bit about your story, your journey,
Mhm.
and even some of the things outside of exercise that you found to be really important for you. So first, maybe we could just start with where you were at, what was going on before you started to make your health such a big priority in your life.
In my adult life, I've always struggled with my weight, always. And it was frustrating. And I tried some weight loss programs that were okay for a while,
Hmm.
but then inevitably the weight came back on. There just wasn't balance. And my husband and I took a trip north in Wisconsin to see the leaves 8 years ago. And we stopped at Lambeau Field on the way back, and they have the statue where it's like the fans when you jump and do the Lambeau leap.
Hmm.
So I couldn't jump up on the ledge. And so Ed just took a picture of me standing in front of it and I saw it and I'm like, how did this happen? I I don't know if I was necessarily embarrassed, but I was disappointed in myself that I had gained so much weight. And he and I chatted about it, and I said, I think that I need to start working out and training. And he actually went and found a place for me to do that. And right out of the gate, um, if I'm invested, I'm really invested. And so
Hmm.
from the beginning, if I train every day. And I did that right away. I started just on the treadmill. I was scared to work with anyone. I don't know why, because I was afraid I'd look stupid.
Okay.
And so I just treadmilled for probably a couple years. And immediately I saw a difference in my weight. The weight started to come off. And I thought, wow, isn't that intriguing that, you get active and then the weight
It
comes off.
works.
So that started this whole 7, 8 year journey that brings me to where I am today.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks. So, where are you today? Like, could you share some of the results that you're most excited about?
I'm stronger, and it may sound like a little thing, but I'm small. You can't tell because I'm in the closet and sitting down, but I'm only 4'10", and very rarely can I help my husband with things, do things around the house. It was hard to carry weights, heavy weights, and move things in the house. And that was the first thing I noticed, is that my strength was building up. Where I always say, "No, I'm a strong girl. I can help. I'm a strong girl, so I can lift things up and put them down." And so that was really the first thing that I noticed. Um, and this is a little bizarre, but as we'll probably talk about, I don't eat as healthy as some people would like me to eat,
We don't have to talk about that. I mean, that's
but
okay.
I try. But my numbers when I go and I get my blood checked
Hmm.
have um, they've raised so much. My cholesterol is so much better. And at the job I had before I opened the store, you went through a physical and then they decided how much you were going to pay for your health insurance. And they had like the bronze, the silver, and the gold plan. And the gold plan was literally like 70% off the regular plan. And I
Okay.
qualified for the gold plan,
Cool.
which was amazing. It was amazing that just working out was balancing everything in my body. And so that was that was massive.
Awesome. What
It
are
it also motivates.
Oh, yeah, yeah, for sure. And that's what I wanted to ask you about, like some of the collateral benefits of the things that you've done, changes that have happened within you, your relationship with yourself, and what you've learned about yourself in the process.
In the past, before this all started, you know how on New Year's Eve you do your New Year's resolutions?
Okay. Yeah.
And my New Year's resolution was to always be better about saving money
Okay.
and lose weight or be healthier. Usually it was just I at that time I was seeing everything in my weight. I didn't realize it was more than that. So for years that was always my New Year's resolution that I failed. And once I started this, I remember that second year, it took me about 2 years to really get comfortable with everything. I don't even know if I had a New Year's resolution that year, but it definitely wasn't be healthier
Mm,
because I knew that I was doing that. So that to me, looking at myself and knowing I lifted, no pun intended, that weight off my shoulders of constantly being concerned.
mm,
I don't feel well and I'm supposed to eat better and it's all so hard. And then you look at yourself poorly. When I would look at myself, I'd be disappointed in myself.
mm.
And so it didn't happen immediately. This is a journey forever. I mean, if you want to stay healthy, you start doing this and you keep doing it. And that's the piece that was so, that realization was awesome. It really was that if I just am consistent, then all these benefits stay with me and I don't have to do any big changes. I just do these things every day.
Cool.
I
I
forgot my answer to your question.
Oh yeah, no, that was great. I think that's awesome. I mean, I'm really interested in like the lessons that you have learned that you can share, and I think that's a big one. It's a journey. Like it's never gonna
It
end.
is a
Yeah.
journey. And throughout life, you sometimes read or see where they say you need to do something 21 days in a row for it to become a habit.
Hmm.
And I don't know if it's really true or not because I do this now so naturally. Uh, but at the beginning, those first 21 days of me being active, it was a motivator. I'm going to get to those 21 days. I'm going to do it. And when I got to the 21 days, um, I thought, well, I should probably keep going since I hit the 21 days. And so it just proceeded from there where this is also another thing that I thought was interesting was my body clock changed because I'm an early morning person for working
Okay.
out. So for 6 years, I never had to set my alarm because my body woke me up at about 4 o'clock. And then I was working out somewhere between 4:30 and 5. And literally that was what my body said. And how cool was that? Because I'd get done and I could have time to clean the house or take a nap, but it freed up the rest of the day. My body knew it and it woke me up for that. Then I bought a business and that piece changed. So I don't wake up at 4 o'clock anymore, but I still like the early morning things. Um, One of the lessons I learned is you have to be comfortable with yourself. And if you're not comfortable with yourself, then you need to do something to change it. Because just keeping that thought process of, oh, I wish I ate better. Oh, I wish, I was as healthy as the person down the street. Um, well, you can wish it all you want, but
Mhm.
you need to do it. And again, you're not going to see the next day, you're not going to feel any different. But even a week down the road, you're going to look back and say, look what I've been doing for a whole week. I've trained 3 times in
Mm,
a week, or I,
mhm.
I ate healthier 3 times the past week. Look what I did. And
That's
then as you
awesome.
keep piecing those weeks together,
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you're not looking at yourself like that anymore. You're not saying, I wish, because you're doing it. So it's very cool.
Yeah.
It is.
So you're almost like using those maybe what we might say are like negative feelings, using them
Mhm.
for something positive, like taking some action in the
Right.
direction you want to go.
Yep.
Um,
Because negative feelings can be very bad. Negative talk. That's how I
mhm.
think a lot of times we hear about it is that negative self-talk
Yeah.
is is not good. And it's not that you're saying it out loud, you're saying it in your head. And but you just a baby step. You just have to take a baby step and another baby step. So transformation doesn't happen overnight.
Hmm.
Transformation just goes on and on and on
Yeah.
as you achieve things and then you work to achieve another thing.
That's cool. Good. I didn't really ask you to prepare for this one, but
Oh, surprise.
as you were talking, I know your husband has been a huge support for you.
Yes.
Um, and like just I mean, obviously a real blessing in your life in so many ways. But
Yep.
um, I'm curious, like, what advice you might give to someone else to try to get that type of support in their life. Like, what could they do to get other people on board with them in the changes that they want to make?
I was lucky because from the start, Ed and my husband and I chatted about the situation, that I was disappointed in myself for what I'd seen. And it was actually him that went out and found a place for me to
Hmm.
go. And so that was beneficial right from the start. But I tell him and involve him and my friends, because I have such a good support system around me. So I always lean on my tribe, that tribe around me. I tell them exactly what's going on. I mean, they know. I have people that I deal with through my business that it's just business related, but because they follow me on Facebook, they know what I'm doing and they support me on that. There was just the other day, we were talking about scheduling something, and the comment from one of the ladies was, "Aren't you working out then?" And it was, and I mean, and
Nice.
she's a business friend, but she knew when there's a piece of it that there becomes expectations from the people around you, not intentionally, but just because
Hmm.
you've been telling them this story, whether it's been on Facebook or you've just been telling your family what you've been going through, then you don't want to disappoint them, whether that's right or wrong.
Yeah,
But that's a powerful motivator
it
because
works.
they know now,
Yeah.
and that's key. And so you need to talk to the people around you so they know what you're doing, and eventually you'll find the ones that are going to be at your back
Yeah.
and remind you, support you, say something to you, the simplest things like, that's a new outfit, that looks awesome on you, or how much weight have you lost, things like that. And when you hear that, you're like, yay, they noticed. So you can't just do it and all of a sudden expect that people are going to see it. You have to do
Hmm.
it and tell people what you're doing so they're watching for it.
Okay.
So, yes.
Awesome. So having even that, it sounds like that initial conversation where you were really open with Ed, your
Yep.
husband, just like,
Yep.
hey, here's how I'm feeling,
Hmm.
and working then together as a team um,
Yep.
to make a shift.
Yep.
That's really
Exactly.
cool.
Nate, can you hold on 1 second?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, there was an issue outside of the closet.
That's okay.
Uh,
So the lesson we were talking about is don't do fitness in the closet,
no,
basically.
you really shouldn't do fitness
Like
in
you
the
should let
closet.
people know what
And
you're trying to do.
nice one, Nate. Yes, you need to do your fitness out for everyone to see,
And there's a
because
real benefit to that. Yeah.
there's a huge, plus you should don't do anything alone. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a person or people that you can lean on that are going to support you, because it's hard to do things all by yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I think we do the best when other people are part of the process, right?
Exactly.
No
Exactly.
matter what it is, like you said. So cool. What other barriers did you have to overcome in the process? Anything else that you can
Um,
think of?
Even at that time, I believe I was 48 years old when I started this process. I had not worked out, touched weights. Maybe I'd taken a few walks over the years since I was in college. And it is still a small barrier that I'm old. And for me to do what I'm doing, it's still evident that I'm old. So, and I think about that sometimes, that it's kind of funny, but it just means you work differently. So
Yeah.
that your knees are going to bother you once in a while, because it's cold or rainy or whatever it is that affects your joints when you get old. However, I found that being stronger lessened those significantly. But at the
Mm.
beginning, there was that barrier of, this is so hard. It's hard and it hurts sometimes. You'll wake up the next day after you've done, um, squats for the first time in 20 years, that you're going to feel it the next day. But I always tell myself it's a good hurt, and it means muscles that I should have been using, I am now using, and they're just complaining a little bit.
Okay.
And then the more you do it,
Awesome.
then the less that happens. So
Positive self-talk that you're using.
it really,
Yeah.
for me, barriers were listening. I had to listen to my body and know, is it, it's telling me this, or it's telling me this, and listen to your body, because otherwise you start to hurt and then you kind of don't want to do it anymore. And so you have to listen, and you have to take care of yourself, and you have to ask questions. If you're working with someone, call your doctor, for goodness sake. I mean, let your doctor know you're going to make a change, and they should know that. First of all, they'll be proud of you. And second of all, you can say, hey, the back of my leg is really bothering me. Is that normal?
Okay.
So I think my biggest barrier is that I started doing this past middle age. And so I had to treat it that way. I'm trying to think of other barriers that I went through. I'll tell you that even now, sometimes motivation, and I was talking to someone about it just the other day, that I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I don't want to get up and work out. It's early and it's cold and the bed is warm. And boy, talk about having to have self-talk. Get out of the bed and go do it. Just do it. It's 30 minutes out of your day. I mean, it's microscopic. It's just
Yeah.
30 minutes. So that's a barrier too.
The shift to virtual training for you.
Oof.
I know, as you were talking about, like, hey, it just got to get out of bed. Like, I know you said, like, it's easier than ever because now I'm training at home.
Yeah.
What has that meant to you? And what benefits have you found from being able to just work out right at home?
Again, it's looking at yourself and knowing what's important. So I think at the beginning I waffled when I think I started straight virtual training in July. Was when I started it, and for obviously the right reasons, to stay home and be safe and keep people safe. And the thing is that at first, when you do it from home, you're thinking this is great, but then it's at home. And so, you could sit on the sofa for a while and think about it. You could have, you could decide you're going to have breakfast first and then accidentally take a shower after that. And then you can't work out because, you're ready to go
Oops.
to work.
Yeah.
So the time is now passed. But once I hate to keep beating on this, but once it's a habit, then it's a habit. Like now our back room is a gym. We've slowly brought in different things that make training easier. And the technology that we use to train is excellent. I mean, I honestly, right now, I don't, I may actually be better now that I'm training at home than when I was training at a gym.
Oh,
I really, I really, it's a comfortable place. And if I have to do something, I can run and do it and come back to it. So I have had no problems with virtual training. If I'm asked to make a choice, I'll stay with it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just curious. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on it. Kind of just wrapping up.
Yeah.
What if you could talk directly to somebody who is like knows they need to make a change? They're on the fence, and they just don't know how to get started. What would you say to them? What advice would you give?
It's easy for me to say, just do it. It is. It's easy because I'm doing it. But I remember at the beginning a couple times where I was unsure, because sometimes I think the thought that's in the back of your head is, this isn't going to work for me, and you don't want to fail. I promise you that if you do this for a week and then you decide it's not for you, you are 1 week's healthier than most of the people on planet Earth just by doing it for 1 week. So that's the thing you have to keep in your mind. Don't go into it thinking that you're going to fail. You have to go into it thinking it you can make it whatever you want. It may turn out that, you did like I did at the beginning. Walking on a treadmill is awesome. I mean, it really is. I happen to be a reader on the treadmill. And sometimes it got me in trouble because I forgot to stop walking on the treadmill and I was late for something because I would get involved. So you make it what works for you. For me at the beginning, it
Hmm.
was just the treadmill. And then I made little baby steps, starting doing the strength and the core training and getting a trainer. So you have to start. That's the only thing I can say is
Mm.
you just have to take the first step, whatever that first step is for you. And you, it's going to work because you can change it. Okay, I didn't like that. That was too hard. Then you find something that isn't as hard. And maybe for you, it's stretching for a couple months. Maybe that's all you do is once a day, you just stretch to get your body loosened up. It's something and it's better than
Hmm.
nothing.
Yeah,
It really is.
cool.
Was that a good answer?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna put myself in the position of judging your answer. 2 thumbs
Thank you.
up. That was great. Your answer is
Okay.
your answer. Okay, cool. Awesome. Um, Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I
You
think
for
that's a great place to
sharing
stop.
this.
Yeah, I
It
appreciate it.
it is something that I am passionate about. I am passionate about taking care of myself. I'm passionate about showing the people around me that look at me at my age that
Hmm.
I can take this on and I can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. With all the issues that I've had over the years, and I've had some health issues that have been much easier to bounce back from because I do this. Uh, yeah, if I can do it, you can do it.
Awesome.